What's up, everybody? Aslan Hajavandi here. Hang tight. Stream will be starting here in a few minutes. Try to look into that as much as you can. All right, we're back. Aslan Hajavandi, Director of Digital Media, but who cares? Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for WarChant.com and Rivals.com, joining us here for continuing coverage of National Signing Day, Part 1, I guess you can say. So I messed up last time. I went with the good news, and then I slid in the bad news. Let's first start off with quarterback. We don't know yet what Sam Howell's going to do. We have a pretty good idea of what he's probably going to do, but the backup plan that we kind of mentioned there for the last few days, Grant Tisdale out of Texas, ended up committing to Ole Miss, so the quarterback position now obviously in flux for Florida State. But we talked about needs, right? We need needs. Florida State got a really good defensive back, Raymond Woody III. I don't know if it was surprising or not. I think a lot of people thought it was a slam dunk just because his dad was on staff, but that's not the case, right?
No, it was very close. It was a very close battle between Ole Miss and FSU. I think the big thing was there was some connections on the Ole Miss staff that they added that's close to the Woody family. So I think he really liked that, and I think it came down to the wire, the final night, and I think he decided on FSU because I think he was more comfortable there. He was very comfortable with Harlan Barnett, and he's tight with a lot of the commits that are already on the team. So I think that was a big, as far as the reason going there and just his fit there. And then I think also they made him a priority from the start. I mean, Harlan wanted Woody in this class, so I think it was very big to get a guy that, I mean, they need safeties. I mean, we've seen this year how much FSU struggled at safeties. So adding all these guys at safety is going to be, pretty big for them. They still have Nick Cross. And
Boo! Ham left us. Ham left us. Come back, Coach Ham. We love you.
as Gene drops in and rips Leonard's head off. But I think it was big. I mean, especially you finished the class with Nick Cross, Gant, and then Travis J. and those guys in the later signing period. They might sign. There's still 2 days left, so we don't know if they're going to sign or not. But I think overall, just getting somebody like Woody is going to help them a lot. As far as he's a guy you can develop quickly. I think he's a guy that can jump in. He's not going to play the first year, but you get him in that system working with Harlan, he's gonna be a good fit for him.
We'll get Willie Taggart at 4 p.m. over at Doak. He'll be able to talk about the players who've signed already, so we won't be able to ask him about maybe particular players that he's got his eye on set down to the future. But Dante Lucas, the ceremony might be actually after 4 o'clock, but we're hoping that his letter will be coming in before that.
Yeah, usually these things, how they work is the letter of intent is already sent in. What they do is they go to a certain office, fax it in, and then they do the ceremony. But the letter's already sent in, and then they do the ceremony and announce. And that's kind of how it usually works. So we're expecting I think you probably see something happen like 3 o'clock that it'll pop in. But outside chance they might wait till 4. But the fact that they're doing it at 4, I think tells with the FSU press conference, I think that tells you like they're going to find a way to get it in before Willie speaks. So I would imagine they're going to try to get that in before they start the ceremony. So I think you get Lucas today, and then obviously you have Putnam tomorrow. And I felt confident that the pick was going to be FSU, and And then I felt even stronger after talking to a few people that, I feel really good. It's going to be FSU tomorrow. So I think if everything goes as kosher, I think they're going to really address their offensive line needs and linebacker needs. Those are two of the biggest needs. You got three guys signed already at linebacker. Going to add a fourth more than likely. Maybe Lakia Henry, the JUCO linebacker that they had visit. I think he's the guy that they're going to target, but I'm sure there might be others. But getting one more is not going to be that difficult. And then on the offensive line, if you sign Lucas and you sign Putnam the next few days, you're going to have four offensive linemen. Basically, you're looking to add maybe two or three in the later signing period, and that's much more easier than what it looked like from the beginning. So I think the main thing is they're addressing needs. Now, they need a quarterback. I'll be honest, guys. I really thought there was a good chance that they could flip Grant Tisdale. I think FSU felt that way, even though he was committed to Ole Miss. I think they felt, going the last 2 days, they felt like that it was possible. Not it was a lock, but it was possible. So the feeling was the confidence was increasing. So I don't know what happened today or late last night and stuff like that, but certainly that's going to be a position that they're going to have to address with Sam Howell likely going to UNC. I don't think anything's changed there. So I think with a quarterback, I think that's going to be the main thing we talk about in the later signing period is who are they going to get at quarterback, because they need at least one. If they get a grad transfer, we hear it's possible they could pull that off. Then you get a grad transfer and a regular high school quarterback. I think they're pretty solid at the quarterback position then.
Right. Some folks might think maybe Michael Johnson Jr. would be an option, but he signed with Penn State as well. So a quarterback becomes another need, obviously, or has been a need. I think 13 players so far have signed. For some people, it might not feel like a lot of sizzle, but I think right now whether you're watching ESPNU or you're checking out Rivals.com, I mean, this is a top 15 class right now. And who are some of the other guys? I know you mentioned some of them, but there's some players between now and February that are going to come on board that Florida State's hoping that'll add to this even more.
Yeah, there's a lot more guys. I mean, we've covered wide receiver Rejay Henderson. He's the guy they're looking at. George Pickens is another one. He's a late signing. There's going to be even more. I mean, I hear that they're still not giving up on Ja'Shawn Sheffield. He's committed to Auburn. He's a 4-star prospect. I think FSU likes him more on the defensive side of the ball. So there's going to be a lot more prospects that we really get into. We've already covered some of them. The offensive line, Kadeem Tellifer is another one that's visiting late. So there's going to be a lot more guys that we have not covered that are going to enter the picture. And you're basically looking at, say you sign like 15 or 16 when the early signing period's over. You're going to have like basically, 8 or 9 spots, maybe 7 to 9. So there's going to be a lot of activity in this later signing period. This is just part one. We're halfway home, but we're still not there, and there's still things to address, and you're not totally done. And I think the last thing I saw was they were number 12 in the rankings as far as team rankings. I could be wrong. Gene can double check those numbers, but that's a pretty solid number. I mean, you consider if they lose Howell and then they add Putnam, that's just like a swap. So you're basically going to stay in the same spot.
I don't want to go too philosophical on you here, Michael, but there's always these warring factions of the fan base when we get to signing day. The whole it's all about stars. I don't see enough 5 stars, and the stars don't matter crowd. I mean, for you've been doing this for almost 20 years now, man. What does it ultimately boil down to when we look at these classes down the road?
Well, I think when you're looking at personnel, you've got to get the right fits in there. I mean, we see like guys like Malcolm Ray. That guy's a really good fit for what they're going to do and how they're going to use their defensive tackles and defensive ends. Because I try to explain to people, is like people get so locked into the way they've used to do it with defensive tackles, but now a defensive tackle in this defense is kind of a mixture of a defensive end and defensive tackle. So you're going to move some guys inside and outside. So I think it's about getting the right personnel that fits Harlan Barnett on defense, and the same thing on offense with whoever's going to be the offense coordinator and Willie Taggart. Getting the right quarterback that can run your system, getting the right blockers that can block your system, and getting the right receivers that can run your system. We didn't see much with the running backs yet because they didn't recruit one, it seems, this year. But I think the main thing is getting the personnel that you need. It's like, guys, I'll say this clearly. The top 5 classes are going to come. Like, if you win on the field, those top 5 classes are going to happen. You're going to get the glamorous guys that the fans are used to. But, this year is a grind-type class to keep the guys that you have, keep the personnel you have, keep the elite guys you have, but also address the personnel problems. And the personnel issues are obviously offensive line, linebacker. You want to get some safeties. and certainly you need to get a quarterback, a high school quarterback. Most of those they've done. Offensive line, linebacker, seems like they're going to get that done, and then they're going to address the quarterback. I know they're likely going to address, a couple other positions. So I think they position themselves well going into this late signing period. But this is a grind class. This is not a glamorous class that like fans are used to, like top fives. Like this class is not like that. When you come off a 5-7 season, it's actually miraculous what they've done just to put all this together and keep these guys. That's what I was talking to Gene before today started. It was like I cannot remember. This is the smallest amount of decommits I can remember that FSU's had. I think it's like 3 or 4, basically, and that's pretty impressive.
And then they flipped a couple guys away from Miami. So
yeah, and you flip a couple guys. I mean, to come off a 5-7 season, and you have that small of decommits. What that says and signifies to me is a lot of these kids are buying into the vision of what Taggart's doing, and also the guys that are already in. They want to be the difference makers. They want to be the guys that change this and turn this around. So I think it says a lot about the recruits buying into the vision and the parents and the families of these recruits buying into it. But people just understand you have to go through this grind. I've said this when everything went down with Walt Bell. They're going to have to grind and scratch and crawl for every one of these kids, even the ones that are committed. That's just the reality of the situation when you have a season like 5-7, and that's what this class is about addressing needs, addressing personnel, and also just getting the right guys that you need in the system to help them be successful. And I think they're doing that so far. Obviously, there's still work to do: quarterback, more offensive linemen, and their linebacker, maybe a safety or so. But there's still work to do. But I think this class, this early signing period, kind of set the tone for what they need to do.
I wish I could look at you and tell you that this is going to be the last time someone's going to ask you this question today, Michael, but Will Putnam tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I feel pretty good about that one for FSU. I think Putnam's going to pick FSU, and I haven't heard anything. I've only heard increasing, confidence in that, so I would be surprised if it's not FSU.
Okay. Michael, man, you can take the rest of the day off, I think. Actually, but you're not going to,
No,
right?
I'm going to see the Willie press conference, to see what Willie has to say about a lot of these kids. And it's kind of for me, it's like a culmination because I've gotten to know a lot of these kids, and it'd be pretty cool. I'm just pretty cool to hear what the head coach has to say, and just sometimes he'll tell little stories about their experiences. And so it's always good to just hear what the coaches have to say about these kids that you built relationships with for 3 or 4 years. So I really enjoy that.
That's it for the stream, but the conversation continues over on warchant.com. If you're not a member, use the promo code WARCHANT30. Get you 30 free days of access. Feel it out. Get yourself comfortable. You won't want to leave because you can hang out with this guy. You can listen to Corey Clark and myself, Irish O'Fell, the managing editor, and, of course, Gene Williams and his leadership up top. WarChant.com. Check us out. For Michael and Maslon, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody.